Welcome back to space.
Here we are.
Hello, everyone. It's been a hot minute since I was here, and if you don't remember me, I'm Blondie, the can you see it? The Mr. Stream of Paradox, streaming director.
Yes.
And also the Grand Patriarch of Ethiopia.
Yeah. Well, I used to be the Grand Patriarch of Ethiopia.
And I am the new one.
Oh.
And if you don't recognize Martin, well, what are you doing here?
Yeah,
no,
honestly, what are you even doing here? Just
exactly.
Go away.
So, today we're going to take a look at the patch 2.2 features that we have already talked about in Dev Diaries.
So this is less of talking about features and also not announcing anything, sorry. And it's more just, I've realized that we have written all of this text and we have done all this talking and so on, but it's kind of hard to get a grip for how all the things in 2.2 come together until you actually play it.
Yes.
So what we're actually gonna do is that we're gonna sort of casually play the game. This is not a serious like let's play campaign. We're probably not gonna continue this past like 3 or so episodes.
Yeah.
Something along those lines.
But something. It might be exactly 3 episodes. I don't know.
And we're not doing like hardcore role playing. It's not a proper campaign. It's more just showing you how the game flows, talking a bit about the features, and talking a bit about some of the iterations that have happened since the last Dev Diaries, because a bunch of the things I've written in the Dev Diaries are now wrong because we changed it.
Yeah.
That happens.
But I know from experience that just reading the Dev Diaries does not give you the best grasp on what's new. Seeing it in action is so much better.
Yes. So, I have actually, because it will provide a nice mix of features, I picked the War Technocracy. We can get robots, we can get some other things, and you can show some of the new living standards, etc. And yeah, I have set up an entirely standard 4-arm galaxy, 600 stars, all the default settings, except just changing the galaxy shape, because elliptical is a little bit boring. And we're pretty much just gonna play. And before we start, I just want to give the disclaimer, this is an early version.
Yeah, very
There's
early.
going to be a lot of numbers that are wrong, there's going to be broken tooltips, there's going to be placeholder graphics, the balance is going to be shot, the AI probably isn't going to be great, there's gonna be a lot of issues that we know about, and you're going to ignore all of this, treat everything as final, and come yelling about how this 4 should actually be a 3, and start that 18-page thread on the forum, so I don't even know why I'm bothering. But anyway.
I mean, 2.2 is nowhere near ready to release.
No. It's like, there's still a fair amount. Oh yeah, and there will definitely be bugs. There will assuredly be bugs.
1100C code, yes.
But there's also going to be new and exciting things and cool things and things that we didn't want you to see, which you'll probably spot.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing about these
yeah, once we start,
streams.
we don't have full control over what we're going to end up accidentally showing, so...
And we're going to be taking questions from chat.
So you know what, never mind, we're just cancelling this thing.
Okay, we're out. See ya.
No. Alright, let's start by picking some research options.
Yes.
A lot of the game, and one of the things that I actually really like now, and I'm not sure if you had the same experience from playing, is it's a lot harder to choose between text in the start, because you kind of want everything.
Oh, for clarity, I've played maybe 5 hours of this. You probably played about a bajillion hours of this.
That's the
so
exact
I know
number.
very little. Also, I'm bad at Stellaris.
That is fair.
So this is as much explaining to me as it is to you.
But yes, I am going to actually pick the growth speed, not starting with the unit different ones. I'm gonna go
research. I would have gone for research speed here.
Yeah, probably administrative AI and mining station output, because that's super nice in the early game.
Now, mining station output is that a new technology?
Yes, those are new technologies, and they only apply to the actual mining station. So we have added proper text to increase them all the way up to plus 50% later, so they can somewhat keep up with planets and planets increasing in technology.
Yes.
And yep, here's my planet. And yeah, there's a lot going on in this interface. I'm gonna not sit and talk about how exactly everything works. Mostly I'll talk about stuff sometimes, and you have to sort of follow along. We did do a design corner in which we did interact with the interface, although it has changed a bit. So I'm mostly going to focus on the things that have changed since that design corner. So if you're just utterly confused, you should probably read up on the Dev Diaries and design corner, or just try to follow along.
Yeah.
And yeah, as you can see, I'm actually starting with a negative amount of amenities, which is down to the fact that we are playing a repugnant species. You're not really supposed to start with negative in anything, so that's just balance we haven't done. But what repugnant actually does, it makes the pop spores are producing amenities. A lot of the traits have changed in general, because we now have more mechanics for them to sort of work with. So Anyway, we're gonna go ahead and send out our science ship.
Now, so when I played this initially, and this is probably due to starting game balance, but I noticed, looking through, that going for a second science ship, which has always been my, like, that's the first thing I do, was not necessarily what I should have done.
I still do it, but
Yeah.
it's not always ideal. It depends.
Yes.
Because one thing you do have to do now if you want a second science ship is either wait for more energy credits or sell something. And in this
Yes.
particular case, we're producing a fair surplus of food. So the market is something you're just not supposed to be, like the galactic market, the entire galactic market is accessible from the start of the game. It's not supposed to be like that, and also the prices are a bit buggy. But you will have access to like internal markets. This is probably not going to be super efficient to just sell things at the start of the game.
Yeah.
But for right now, I'm doing it also to speed things up a bit. I also should assign a governor at some point, because there is a bug right now because we changed the governor system where you don't start with a governor.
Yes, and the astute viewer noticed that you don't build science and construction ships on planets anymore.
No, you do not, in fact. You build everything in the starbases now, and when you build a colony ship in a starbase, you will be able to pick from all the potential species in your empire. It's to sort of make it simpler to know where everything is built. On the other hand, colony ships now cost a bunch of things that aren't just like minerals, if you notice that.
Yes.
They actually cost food and consumer goods.
We've increased the amount of resources by like what, twice the amount, at least for the starting, not including strategic resources.
Yep. Yeah, in general, a lot of like you can see a lot more resources in the home system. There's a lot more resources in general. One of the things about the new economy is that there's generally a lot more of the basic resources, but you require large quantities of the basic resources to refine into the better resources.
Yes. So, for example, alloys are generally, not always, but generally made from minerals, and alloys you need to build.
Yes.
Anything made of metal, really.
And I am gonna build a Doctor Monument. I'm actually gonna sell. I'm not sure why I'm clicking multiple times there, but I'm gonna sell some of the stuff and get myself a governor. And so leaders now actually cost energy credits and upkeep. I know I talked about this before, and the amount they cost will start scaling up as your empire gets bigger. So eager is no longer the absolutely worst trait of all time.
No, it's actually really good.
Which is, you know, a bit of a shock to you viewers, I'm sure.
So I know with 2.2 you're opening up a lot to modding, more than you than what was available before. There was a lot of things written into hard code.
Oh god, yes. The game is extremely, like, it was pretty moddable before, but the game is absurdly moddable now. Like, you could replace all of these resources and just script whatever new resources you want in the top bar. You can change all the buildings. You can change, like,
can you add more resources?
Yeah, easily.
Perfect. That was the question I was getting to.
Yes, and the entire top bar is now scriptable. So, like, what information you want to show on the top bar is actually entirely, at least scriptable in terms of resource and values. I'm not sure if you can script like a custom modifier value, but
got some nice to-do there.
yeah. This is just list the number of pops, number of colonies, and so on. And you can also script what they should open. So we have scripted like this is supposed to open the edict screen.
Yes,
it's not doing that right now.
Fantastic. Is that also scriptable with the pop-down flags? Do you know what I'm talking about? I don't know their actual name. The notifications.
Oh, the notifications are not scriptable, I'm afraid. It's probably not something we'll have time for. It's the sort of thing that we'll probably make scriptable at some point, but, you know, while this is kind of an enormous update and we're doing a lot of things, we won't have time for everything we could possibly want.
Yeah.
And yes, policy and edicts are now in separate screens.
There are so many of them.
Yeah, and there's gonna be more, so I wanted space to add some more policies.
But 5 hours into my game, I had about twice as many policies as that.
Yes, but there needs to be more policies.
There needs to be more policies.
The main reason for that is actually that I kind of want to change the factions.
Oh.
So that their approval, like what they approve and disapprove of, should pretty much always be policies.
Sure.
So I want to add policies for things like minimum living standards, how you can treat aliens
That
and
would
so
be
on.
nice.
So it's super clear what they want and don't want, rather than no species should have this specific setting on species rights, and then you have to hunt through the list. Like, who is it? Who is it?
See, I thought that the reason you wanted more policies is because you want a longer scroll bar.
That too.
Yeah.
But
and then a slider for the scroll bar.
Yes, the slider for the number of scroll bars.
Yeah,
as well.
exactly.
Sorry. Yep. I mean, yeah, doesn't everyone want a longer scroll bar?
I'm. You know what? Let's leave that there, because that's a topic I do not want to get into.
Yeah. Yeah. So this works more or less as before. You get your construction ship. You go out and you build an outpost. The big difference is that it costs alloys instead of minerals. Generally speaking, anything you build on a planet will cost minerals, and anything you build in space will cost alloys. There is the only exception to this is mining and research stations.
Yes.
They still cost minerals, but
the ships cost alloys, stations cost alloys.
Things cost alloys.
Things cost
also,
alloys.
This is the topic of next week's Dev Diary, but traditions have changed quite a lot.
Yes.
We've sort of taken a pass on them and re-themed some of them, like domination is no longer about vassals, for instance. It's about like raw resource exploitation, exploiting, getting the most out of the lower classes, and prosperity is more about like city planners, specialists, the educated part of your economy. And it's actually quite a bit more difficult to choose which one you want to start with nowadays.
Yeah.
I mean, there's still the good old safe picks like discovery and expansion, but there's definitely something to be said for a lot of them right now.
Yeah, I think I started with prosperity because I was noting some issues with money.
Yeah, but it's also, you know, you have
or
this,
resources
which
rather.
is so strong. We are gonna get the, let's see, we are fanatic authoritarian. I'm probably gonna get rid of the faction issues about traditions, but still. You also have this, which we do have an amenities issue actually, and it also increases stability. So I'm actually gonna open with harmony.
You're saying that in the current build, pops are using a bit too much amenities?
It's actually that our pops are bad at producing amenities because they're repugnant.
Oh, our species. We have
our
a problem.
particular species.
Not the game.
Yeah, and you're not really supposed to start with a negative amount of amenities. So we'll probably tweak the balance a bit there, but you're still gonna need more amenities if you're a repugnant species, because it's actually a pretty bad trait now.
So in my game, I ended up being sandwiched between two empires, unable to expand. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna build tall, and I noticed, because I had a couple of planets that I could colonize that weren't too bad, like 21s and 20s.
Yeah.
And I noticed that the game there's a lot more management, so to say, and that sounds bad, but it's not what I mean. There's a lot more things that you can do if you don't want to just expand.
It's sort of a case where and this is actually what I wanted to achieve. I always feel like there's somewhere I could go in my empire to poke something to make it better.
Yeah.
There's not always, something that has to be dealt with.
Yeah.
There's not always a crisis or whatever, but I always feel like if I look around in my empire, I can find something to poke to improve, which is more or less what we intended. So I'm happy with that. So this is our first planet we have found. Our home is an Arctic, and it's actually a tundra, so it's a pretty okay planet, size 18, decent, I would say, natural resources. And here you can see how many blockers and how many like rare planetary features like Batarian are on a planet. So you can sort of take a quick glance on a uncolonized planet and see how big is it, what are the resources, and what cool things are on it.
Yeah.
This is kind of a boring world, but it's alright. Let's see what else we have. Ooh, we actually have a rare planetary feature. So here we have a size 15 world that has almost enough like raw material deposits to support the entire planet size. So this is going to be a resource extraction colony, most definitely. Because we got 6 mineral, we got 4 food, and we got 4 energy on a size 15 planets. So that means we can have 14 resource production and 1 city if we want.
Yeah.
And it has a bubbling swamp.
Oh, max crack.
Yes, so this supports the construction of a special building that extracts exotic gases, which is normally an incredibly expensive resource to produce. So this is very nice.
Nice. So people were asking why repugnant species are bad at creating amenities, and let me ask you this: if you go to a store and the cashier or the clerk
Slimes all over you.
Slimes all over you, smells really, really badly, would you want to go there often? I don't think so. Exactly. They need to figure out.
Blorg are not very good shopkeepers. But in general, it's because we try to retheme the traits to have more clear effects that aren't, completely dependent on what kind of empire you are. So like repugnant and charismatic sometimes wouldn't have any effect whatsoever because it would mainly affect opinion. So we've just tried to sort of change the traits to be more generally useful. Okay.
So stability has dropped below 50.
You really shouldn't get a notifier for 49% stability because that's a fine amount of stability. But yes, we should get some amenities going. We could get some holo theaters, but I'm actually thinking some luxury residences because that gives us amenities and
straight
more
up 5
housing.
amenities.
Yeah, and some nice housing. So I'm going for that.
That's if you haven't been reading the dev diaries, which they're kind of wordy. I understand. I read them, but I wish I could be the one looking at this and being like, I don't need to read. You need a certain amount of housing on a planet to support your population.
Okay, so yeah, this is something we did talk about in the past dev diaries. Housing is basically, on average, and this is not always true, a pop will use 1 housing. But housing is not a hard cap. You can go have pops over your amount of housing, and this will cause increasing amounts of problems with like stability and migration. At a certain point, growth will stop entirely, but by then the planet will be extremely overcrowded. So generally, you don't want that to happen. There will also be ways to deal with overcrowding, like population controls, expelling population, or just founding new colonies to export growth. So the way it actually used to work when we wrote about it in the dev diaries, we had a planetary stat called infrastructure, which was what unlocked building slots. What we basically found when we play tested it was that you would build a lot of like city districts just to get more building slots. So every player would end up with planets like covered in completely empty cities. And you wouldn't get this sort of nice growth where after a certain point another building slot opens up. So we actually scrapped infrastructure because it just wasn't good in playtesting. It was one of those things where this looks fine on paper, but once you play it you realize no, it wasn't very good.
Which happens a lot in game development.
Yes, it happens all the time. And instead we have based the number of building slots on the number of pops. And mind you that these numbers are highly experimental, but we do like the number of pops approach better. And if the number of pops drops to the point where you would lose a building slot, that building isn't destroyed, but it becomes ruined. It becomes unusable, and it cannot be repaired until you have the required amount of pops for it again. So there is handling for, you can't just resettle a bunch of people to a planet, build a bunch of buildings, and then resettle them back out.
No.
We can, but the new buildings will fall into ruin.
Sure.
System scan complete.
And the entire planet thing works a bit different as a Gestalt consciousness?
Yes, it's quite a bit different actually. There's still amenities and so on, but they represent different things. They use different things. You don't have to worry about consumer goods, etc. So yeah, it's pretty different. Speaking of worrying about consumer goods,
we're running low on consumer goods.
Yes, we are.
Do we have any available?
I think we probably have the militarized economic policy, so I am gonna switch back to a mixed economy for the time being. Like, one of the nice things about being authoritarian is that you don't have to worry as much about consumer goods. You can probably run a militarized economy, but in this case we probably need a second civilian industries or another way of reducing the consumer goods use. We do have the that explains it. We're not running a stratified economy.
There you go.
We should definitely be running a stratified economy.
Yes, which makes workers and slaves consume less.
Yeah, slaves don't consume anything under it, actually.
No.
So, but we don't actually have any slaves, by the way. That's a change to authoritarian. Authoritarians don't have slaves by default. They just have stratified economy, but there is a special civic called slaver guilds, That means part of your population is always enslaved.
Damn.
So slavery is now more of an like you don't have to be a slaver to be an authoritarian. Okay.
Can I sell consumer goods to other space nations? I believe yes, in the market.
You can sell it in the market, or you can do a direct trade swap. So, but usually you will probably be wanting to sell it in the market. And one fairly good way of playing the game is actually to really specialize in either like raw resources or manufacturing, and then purchase what you can't really provide yourself.
Yep.
So, for instance, you might want to focus entirely on consumer goods and just import your alloys, or just produce some of your alloys and import the rest.
Yeah, be a trading economy.
Construction online.
Go. I'm missing some consumer goods to colonize, but I will get on that shortly.
Buy some more streaming time on the market. Nope, we're going for 1 hour because we have stuff after this.
As someone who just started getting into it, what were some of the things that threw you for a loop?
So the way that the population and jobs worked before was very like, no, I took a pop and I put them in one place, and it was a very strategy gamey. It wasn't very simulation-y, and I think the new system really works on like a simulation basis, where you can make jobs inactive and try and prioritize certain jobs over others, but it's not as straightforward as it was before, and especially if a pop goes up a strata, you're gonna have. I ended up in a position where I had like 4 specialists who didn't have anything to do. So I was like, what do I do?
That's why you want harmony.
Time takes for an unplugged pop to demote a lowest. Oh, that's pretty good.
Yep.
I mean, I just built 4 artist jobs.
But that can definitely be a problem where you end up, especially if you end up with unemployed rulers, because ruler jobs are not very easy to create.
No, definitely not.
Well, one way to solve it always to enslave them. If you're playing authoritarian or xenophobe and there are different species, then you can do that.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Some people are asking about machine intelligence and hive minds. Maybe we'll show that week 3, maybe.
Yeah, we're not gonna play them right now. We may do so briefly, but they also haven't. They also are a bit less finished, I would say, than the others. Not that anything is finished.
No,
but we have mainly focused our efforts on basic empires. Like, they have mechanics in place and everything. They are playable, but they don't have. They're gonna get more unique buildings. For instance, they're a little. As it stands in the current version, they're a little underwhelming compared, because they don't have nearly as many fun buildings and so on, and they will get that. But,
we are again. We are nowhere near ready to release this.
Yes. Okay, let's get an admiral. I'll get you. I think we should study the corpse.
Yes, always study the corpse.
Always study corpses. That's my general policy in life.
Anomaly detected.
Let's see. That is a question we shouldn't answer now.
Yeah, you
so
can,
how
you
does
can take some
number
questions from chat if you want.
I'm looking through it to see if there are any good ones. So how does number of jobs / building work now? We went through that. So the number of buildings you can build is based on how many pops are living on the planet, and jobs is based on what kind of buildings and your districts.
Yes, so one thing that we did talk about was that, or rather that we did previously show, is that most buildings had like jobs per pop.
Yes.
Like if you have 20. This was also something we found when we play tested it, that it became really confusing. It was really hard to understand, if I build this building, how many more jobs will I get in keeping your employment, and your like employment numbers will fluctuate. Suddenly you'd have a bunch of new specialists who all would be using consumer goods, and so we actually sort of walked back that, where most buildings now provide a fixed amount of jobs, but there are some buildings, in particular, for instance, the commercial zones, that provide jobs per pop. So generally we made it so that the jobs per pops are usually worker strata jobs that don't require anything.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And also you can build districts for minerals, food and energy to increase those types of jobs.
And housing.
And they are, and you can also build housing districts. And something I didn't realize reading the dev diary is that the planet size is the amount of districts you have. And it might be I just forgot.
We should, I mean, you do show here that you have the amount of available districts you have, but I should. Although you can get from modifiers as well. That reminds me, we should definitely be clearing the sprawling slums. So I am gonna sell.
So on our capital planet, we can only have 18 districts. We have 13. Sorry, we have 3 city districts, which means we can build 15 production districts.
There will be some things that change the max districts on a planet, like blockers reduce it, and for instance, Master Nature is going to change to add a modifier to the planet that increases max number of districts instead of changing the size. But generally speaking, the planet size is the number of districts you can build. So yes, but because the neat thing about clearing the sprawling slums is you get a pop.
Oh yeah, that's pretty neat.
Situation log updated.
And the blockers that you saw in the planet view for districts is based on, or rather, you can if you clear out. God, I haven't done this for so long, so I start forgetting words. How to English?
If you start clearing out the blockers?
Yeah, if you start clearing out the blockers, you will unlock the ability to build more districts.
Yes, precisely, because as you can see, it says we have 5 free districts, but we get 18 from planet size and -3 from planetary features.
So if you look at the grey ones in the food and generator districts, those are blocked off from blockers.
No, those are the red ones actually.
Oh.
The grey ones are showing that it's basically to show your limitations by planet size.
Oh.
So previously we would have all of them like open even if you only had like 1 planet size left to use.
Yeah.
Now we grayed out, you can see the actual amount you can build.
Okay, there we go.
Construction online.
My bad. It's the red ones, guys. It's the red ones.
The red ones.
I've only played this for 5 hours, okay?
You should be an expert.
I should be an expert. Man.
Get good. Get good, Blondie.
Get A-spec in here. Let's see.
Alright, I think we just need some alloys and then we can colonize this nice little planet.
So we have some questions here about selling to your own market. So basically what it means when you're selling, like you can liken it to selling to the private sector. So like you're selling, when you're selling with your internal market, your state is selling to the private sector.
The theme is you're selling the private sector to independent people, you know, it's sort of interacting with the part of the economy that isn't under state control.
Yes.
Okay, I don't think we need any slave armies just yet. Get off-world trading company. I'm actually gonna go for the hydroponics farms and hydroponics bay. So you might have noticed hydroponics farms, which actually isn't the district.
Yes.
I always find it a little bit silly that an entire planet is only doing hydroponics farms, like arable land. Why would you want that?
No, absolutely not. Hydroponics is much more efficient.
Yeah, so hydroponics is actually a building which you can build which ignores the like agriculture district limitations.
Yes.
So you can use building slots on food production if you need it.
And it's the same with the generators, right? The energy grid.
Yes.
It's also a building now.
No. So, no, but the energy grid is the one that buffs everything. It's different.
Isn't? Okay.
We'll get into that when we encounter them.
It's fine. We'll get to that. We have 3 hours of this over 3 weeks. It'll be fine.
It'll be fine. Okay. Oh, we have discovered rare crystals, and it has volatile modes. But that's not right. So do you have these resources called like rare crystals, exotic gases, and volatile modes? And what they do is that they basically are really rare resources that allow you to upgrade buildings and use advanced ship components. Almost all upgraded buildings take rare resources as upkeep. Like if we don't have any of those upgrades yet, but you will probably see them while we're playing.
Mm-hmm.
And for instance, upgrading your research labs to a higher tier, like the advanced research labs, will take 1 rare crystal a month, but it will give you like 5 researcher jobs instead of 2.
Yeah.
So the upgraded buildings are far more efficient in terms of the amount of jobs you can stack on a planet and how efficient you can make it, but you need those rare resources. So upgrading buildings isn't something you just do.
Yeah.
It's something you have to sort of choose and think about.
see what people are saying.
So anyway, basically, when you find these in space, it's a really good thing, and you should want that system, because one of these takes, I think it's 6 minerals to like convert. So, and that's with a like advanced processing job that requires its own building. So, if you can find them naturally, it's always way more efficient than it is to like synthetically produce them.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's get Utopian Dream and fix our humanity situation. Hooray! We do have a lot of housing, at least.
Yeah, we do.
That's nice.
So we have a question here. So what happens if you hit? Say that you lose a system with a rare resource in, due to war or something. What happens when you hit 0 to those buildings?
You will get, so each resource has a special modifier that will be applied if you have a deficit in it, and it will generally affect things that require that resource.
Okay.
Also, there will probably be events where over time, if you don't have rare crystals, your rare crystal buildings will collapse. And
okay.
So generally, you don't want to be running out. We have added an option though to, you can't see it because I don't have any, yeah, you can see it here. You can downgrade upgraded buildings, much like star bases, which downgrades them to the basic level that doesn't require any rare resources. So if that happens, you can always, and you can't afford to purchase that resource to cover your deficit, you can always go and downgrade one of the buildings that's using it.
There we go. Hope that was a sufficient answer for you. I don't remember your name. Let's see. What is the max planet size now?
I should not sell food. I wanted for the decision.
Do we know that? The max planet size?
So there's no longer any real max planet size. It's just what we scripted as. Because, for instance, Ring World sections are size 50 now. So it can support 50 districts. I think we have still set the habitable planets that you can't find larger than 25 by default, but there's no particular reason for it. It's just,
that's a major...
It's just legacy, really.
Yeah, that's a major upgrade to Ringworlds then.
Yes, but they're like... of course it would get stupid and unmanageable, but you could theoretically have a size 1000 planet. There's no...
Yeah, absolutely.
There's no restriction on that. But yes, Ringworlds can support a lot of stuff.
And you can mod that in if you want to have a size 1000 planet.
Yes, you can mod in your size 1000 planet.
Good.
You do that. But yes, I was actually saving up. Oh, we can also fix this. We could also fix our humanity situation by distributing luxury goods, so all the tentacles get, they put rings on, they had tentacles.
Yay!
But yes, I'm actually saving up. Right now, I'm actually gonna sell some minerals, and I'm gonna buy some food, and then we're gonna encourage planetary growth because I want more pops. Damn it! Wow! Holy shit, we're lucky.
Okay.
There are 4 rare crystals in this system. I have literally never seen a system with 4 rare crystals.
Wow, that's pretty good.
That's like better than finding like 30 minerals or something along those lines.
Yeah.
We have another Thunder World there. Okay, yeah, I guess we are like the rare crystal Saudi Arabia now.
There we go. I mean, so if we don't have anything that necessarily use them, we can start selling them on the black market.
We do need the technology to extract them.
Yeah, but once we have that, we can start selling it.
Indeed.
It's fantastic.
Go. Now I keep forgetting to save up alloys for the colony ship. You know what? Screw it.
Yeah.
I shouldn't be doing this because it's not efficient, but I'm not playing to be efficient now.
Nah.
I'm playing to be excellent.
Sure.
Go, and we'll name this one. Yeah, that's fine.
Construction online.
I'm saying.
Nurgle, could you take a look at my screen? Don't flip it over. I want you to read something. I'm trying to communicate with our producer about things I've already done.
So I saw a question about pops voting in elections based on their strata. The answer is sort of. Hold on, I'm gonna build one of these districts as soon as I can afford it. So pops have a stat that's called political power. This comes from the strata, and it affects a lot of things. It affects how much they contribute to the pop approval rating on the planet.
Yep.
So, for example, you can see that on our planet, the 2 ruler pops have 40% of the power, aka 20% power per pop, and that means that their happiness counts for more than the happiness of all the 18 worker pops together.
All right.
So each one ruler pop, and if let's see, the 18 workers have about 1.5 political power each. So yeah, 1.5%. So one of the rulers counts for about 15 worker pops. But that's because we have the stratified economy.
Yes.
And the stratified economy gives extreme amounts, like they have 10 political power each.
Damn.
And the workers have 0.75 political power each. So this stuff depends on your on your living conditions and the sort of living conditions you have. If we were to go to, for instance, a social welfare system instead, then workers would get a lot. You can see that rulers would still have more political power.
Yeah.
But they would have 4 political power. Specialists would have 2 political power, and workers would have 1.5.
Yes.
Basically doubling the power of the workers and halving the power of the ruling class. In our case, that would not necessarily be great.
No. But if you want your fantastic Marxist utopia, then
this does affect things like faction power and votes and all that stuff. Political power is essentially how much political power a pop has in your empire. How much do they matter politically? So it affects all of those systems. And if you have utopian abundance or shared burdens, everyone is equal. Everyone has the same amount of political power.
Perfect Marxism. Let's see. What about the space unicorns?
We'll talk about those at some other point.
Yeah, sure. Let's see. Will tall empires be viable? I think so, yeah. I think it will be much more fun to play as well.
It will be very different, definitely, but we absolutely intend to have them be viable. But it's gonna be more of a difference in how you play and how you focus, and so on, and what you put on your planets. A tall empire would probably be one that focuses very much on refining and producing advanced goods, rather than one that focuses on mining a lot of minerals.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Yes, we have some unemployment on our capital world, and so I am going to go ahead and build an energy district.
Yes, because that is what we're lacking the most currently.
Yep.
Starbot.
Yeah, I'm ignoring this one for now.
I'm
gonna ignore most of the event chains, because the point isn't to show up event chains we've shown before.
Definitely not. We've already done a series on this in Stars.
Yep.
It was a long time ago. It was me and Daniel. It's when we came up with the Mr. Stream gig.
Nice.
Mr. Gag, I mean. Wow.
Gig. Is that your actual title now, Mr. Stream?
Yeah. No, it's
Okay.
It's on my business card.
Nice.
Blondie, Mr. Stream. Actually, Mr. Blondie Stream, but whatever.
On the other hand, one of the advantages, if you do have social welfare, is actually... Oh, it's not here yet, but under social welfare, unemployed pops actually produce unity. And under utopian abundance, they produce unity and research.
Ooh, that's cool.
The idea being that it's sort of like basic income, where people have money and they don't have to worry about living, so they'll probably put their time to some sort of productive use.
All right, let's
play video games.
I love that we both went there. Yes, exactly. That's how we get Let's Players and streamers. Unemployed pops watch Twitch all day. Exactly. They all watch Paradox Interactive.
Paradox plays.
PDX plays the classics.
But yeah, we cannot actually mine these yet. But we are absolutely getting that technology as soon as we can. And we have our colony ship heading for the colony. Maybe. Oh, yeah, the pirates are about to pay us a visit, because that system hasn't been reworked yet. So I do want this to finish so I can show the new trade system.
Yeah.
Have you played with it at all?
I'm gonna be honest. I tried.
Yeah, the interfaces for it are super unfinished, so it's very confusing. That's gonna be better.
I wrote it in the feedback document, and then I was like, wait.
Yeah. We know it's very undone.
Yeah. So I'm not gonna hold that against you, you and your team.
System charted.
Let's just say I didn't understand how.
Fair. I'm thinking as soon as it hits 30, we're gonna build another alloy factory because I'm feeling the lack of alloys right now.
Yeah, only +8.
Yes. We only have like the Empire base production plus a couple of jobs, which means I'm having to balance 8 alloys between all of the things I want to spend alloys on.
Yeah, I didn't have that high alloy production in my playthrough where I ended up having to go tall because I was xenophobe stuck between 2 other empires who were both xenophile. But I ended up having a lot of alloys, actually, a lot more than I used, simply because I wasn't really building ships or
I mean, what you should have done. You should have put the alloys in the warships and conquered the xenophiles.
Yeah, I should have, but it was early enough that 30 ships probably wouldn't have done much.
That sounds like defeatist talk.
Yeah. When I say 5, it was 5 is probably generous. I probably spent 3 at most. Let's see. Oh yeah. Second time in 12 months that people are gonna have to remake their their tutorials for Stellaris on YouTube.
Yeah.
Enjoy that YouTube money.
Have fun. Ooh, more. Ooh. Turret. Okay, this means that so far we have found all of the rare resources in our immediate territory.
Pretty good.
That's extremely lucky, actually. So
that's pretty good.
Very nice. This should be an actual playthrough.
We'll just save it. Screw all future plans. We're doing this.
Yeah, fuck it. Okay, yeah. And you are going to go explore over here.
Anomaly detected.
So there's a question I see coming up a lot, and I'm not even sure it was true before the changes. But so with the removal of infrastructure, is there a point to sort of specialize your planet in?
Yes. So, sorry. The point of specializing your planet is that all forms of production have like buildings that boost them.
Yeah.
And if you want a planet that's optimal at manufacturing, you're going to need a large amount of pops, enough building slots, and the like highest versions of upgraded capitals.
Yeah.
So there is definitely still a point to it in that everything is boosted by a particular type of building. So you're still gonna want your manufacturing worlds and your like mining worlds. You don't have to do that, but it's more efficient still.
All right, there we go.
We're also actually thinking about, so we have these like auto-generated labels, and they can actually have an effect on the game, like the capital is no longer a modifier here, it just comes from the Empire capital type. And I'm sort of thinking about just adding a small bonus, like if it's a mining world, plus 5% minerals or something.
That would be
just a little
cool
thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I kind of like that. Yeah, I've also feedbacked on this earlier, but a new colony, does it use the same amount of amenities as any other planet?
No.
Doesn't it?
It's pops that use amenities.
Well, yeah, but the pops on the planet.
Yes.
Because if I moved to a newly colonized planet, I wouldn't really be like, all right, I need an IMAX, okay? Martin, I need an IMAX on this new colony.
Honestly, I think you would absolutely need an IMAX on the new colony, because
Sure.
what else is there to do?
You know what? Good point. I mean, mining. This is a mining colony after all.
Yeah.
New technology discovered.
Oh yes, and you can actually see the faction faction changes which I went over in a dev diary, where they now give influence scaling to their approval level as long as they have at least a like half decent approval level, rather than having the 60% cutoff.
Which is nice. And for those of us who have forgotten, the support which is marked by a magnet right now in the factions. How does that affect the faction?
Okay, so the support is their power level. So it's basically the maximum amount they can give is 2, or rather your faction influence level, and then that's multiplied by their support and multiplied again by their approval.
Ah, there we go.
So it's 2 times 1 times 0.55 equals 1.1.
There we go.
So, the more support a faction has, the more influence it can potentially provide if it's happy.
And if you have, say that half your pops belong to one faction, half your pops belong to the other faction.
Then it depends on which pops, because it depends on the political
power.
power.
There we go. All right. There you go. Good answer. I have a question here, which I already have an answer to. Will there be any new big space animals or structures in 2.2? And
nothing we've announced so far.
No.
And I also have another question: if xenophobes have a way to restrict which strata aliens can occupy without enslaving them completely, the answer is yes. If you set a alien species to residence, then they will be prevented from occupying ruler strata jobs, and they will be disfavored for specialist jobs.
There we go.
So they will sort of end up being your natural working class.
Cool.
They also require less amenities and housing, and just generally are a bit miserable about the whole residence thing. Very ungrateful, I feel.
Do pops with more political power use more consumer goods? And the answer is yes, I believe.
Pop, yes, generally speaking, is that they're tied into each other. Is you could roughly say that the amount of consumer goods a pop requires is sort of equal to their political power, or at least related to it. It doesn't work like that, but if the living standard gives them a high amount of consumer goods, it also gives them a high amount of political power, is the gist of it. So the more material inequality, or the more material equality, the more political equality. Political commentary.
Yes.
I'm bad at words today.
You and me both, brother. I had a question from Mixer, which is when is the console version coming out? And we haven't announced the release date for that yet.
Yes, and that's more of a question for the console team.
Yes, this is PC.
Yes.
But yeah, it is coming out on console if you want to play Stellaris from your couch without having to awkwardly balance a keyboard on your lap and have a mouse on the cushions next to you and doesn't really work. Whatever, you can play it with a controller on PS4 and Xbox One, coming at some point.
Go buy some alloys. Get the right colony.
And it had a great trailer.
Oh wait, no, that's an Ocean World.
That's the
this
one.
is what I wanted to colonize. Actually, let's check out that Ocean World. It's also got
Mode Harvey.
wow.
This is a good start.
Oh, Space Piracy. Damn it. For once, I have forgotten to build enough corvettes. I almost never forget that.
How many
stuff.
are there in the, the piracy fleet?
Time to panic sell some things. And buy some alloys. I think there's usually 6 corvettes is enough to deal with it, but
yeah. How strong fleet power do they have?
They have 186.
So
combined with the outpost, this should be
that
okay.
should be just fine. That was what I was gonna get at. I think with the outpost you'll be fine.
Situation log updated.
Cool.
Can we have special pops that produce resources such as finding some primitives that eat minerals and poop alloys? Which is a hilarious thought, and I think you can mod it.
You can totally mod that, yes.
Yeah.
You can. The jobs are super moddable. You can mod pretty much any job you like, but I'm not sure we'll have any alloy pooping primitives in the base game.
But it would be funny.
Nice.
When Stellaris coming to Neo Geo. That is a system I haven't thought about in
Time
10
to get
years.
some alloy foundries. Yes, the Stellaris coming to Neo Geo, definitely.
Yes.
It's very high on our priority list.
Yeah, it's just after the just after the Nokia 3310 version.
Of course.
Yeah, it's it's Xbox and PS4, Nokia 3310, Neo Geo. Oh wait, yeah.
Don't forget the Ouya.
Ouya is down here somewhere. I mean, we have to get in the Motorola Razr somewhere, and also my smart fridge.
This is true.
I don't have a smart fridge, but I'm gonna get one.
Are you getting a Skyrim for it?
Yes, and also Stellaris.
Nice.
Oh yeah. So how do primitives work on planets now?
They have their own like buildings and jobs and whatnot. They're a little bit unfinished right now, but if we encounter any, I will click them and you can see. But yes, they have their own mechanics.
Yes.
Build that ship. Okay, sweet. Now I want to upgrade the starbase, which requires alloys. Soon we will have more alloys.
Anomaly detected.
We've started a bad trend here. Everyone is just saying, I want Stellaris on insert non-gaming thing here.
Just make it happen.
Yeah, exactly.
We appointed you porter of Stellaris to everything else. And you here?
Yes, absolutely. Let's go.
You're also gonna have to port Stellaris so you can place Stellaris in Stellaris.
Whoa. Whoa. Damn. Like, I mean, if we could, I'm just spitballing. If we can make a browser version of Stellaris, we could use the in-game browser to play Stellaris inside Stellaris.
Exactly. Or like the Hoi mods, which had like card games.
Oh
and
yeah,
such.
yeah.
So we'll just port that interface system to Stellaris, and then you can build Stellaris in that interface.
Yeah,
system.
absolutely. No, I'll just get on it. I'm such a good coder. Alex, could you take care of the spammer? Or should I?
Engaging hostile station.
When I click my find station open the instance of Ryan Mars, the management column. No, only if you click Mars.
Anomaly detected.
Exactly. It's the same as in Hoi. Whenever a battle happens, it opens up a game of Steel Division.
Yes, exactly. Okay, here we actually have some trade value in space. I'm surprised we haven't encountered that yet.
Yes.
So I was talking about this on the trade routes dev diary, where you can actually find trade value in space, which sort of represents things like gems and shiny, sparkly, nice things that aren't like useful for your industries, but pops might want. And if you can have a trade station bring those home, you can turn them into money. Like we are actually making 11 energy credits a month from trade right now.
Yes.
Basically coming down to the fact that our homeworld Hyverian is generating 11 trades, which you can see here, and it's automatically collected by our starbase here and turned into money.
Yes. So how would one collect?
I shall show you that because I am in the process of upgrading this.
Fantastic.
So my plan is, we don't have any trade value from this colony yet because it's not actually a colony yet, but eventually there will be. Pretty much all the planets generate trade value, and heavily populated planets will generate a lot of trade value, so you're gonna want to bring that home. Which also actually gives you a reason to want to keep your super like densely populated worlds close to your capital. You don't have to, and sometimes it's definitely worth if you find a great planet elsewhere.
Yeah.
But there is an advantage to having sort of a core space and using your remote colonies mostly for resource extraction, because you don't have a super valuable trade route going across your entire space and inviting all the pirates to your yard.
Yes. Then they're like, it's better than yours.
Okay, I should go home. You should go here.
We've conquered another world. Situation log updated.
Oh,
We cannot announce anything about release date or anything else
No.
about the release of 2.2.
you'll know when you know. Trust me, you will not miss it.
But all of this is free, part of the free patch. Yes?
Yes, everything we have shown is part of the free patch.
There we go. Don't worry, you will get it anyway. Hotshot Demon says, I love Blondie. I have nothing else to say about that other than yes. Just want to bring that up. I'm craving attention.
Construction online.
That's why I'm on the stream. Shouldn't it be Stellaris 3.0 with all these changes? Were you contemplating making it 3.0?
I was contemplating it, but as I wrote at one point, my arbitrary logic is dusk. It was too soon since 2.0. I would feel silly making it 3.0 already,
Yeah.
therefore it's 2.2. That's my arbitrary logic and I'm sticking to it.
Sure. Oh, Hydrate Bot says we need to drink.
Construction online.
Can't
Can't argue with hard hitting bots.
can't argue with Hydrate Bots.
Ooh, that's actually a lot of trade value. Built another. Tell you what, I'm gonna bring you over here.
The only solar system I actively look for to own is the Blondie system. I do too.
I
And
mean,
I think I've told you about this. I still want a permanent CB whenever I'm playing on the Blondie system.
doesn't seem to make sense.
No, it makes a ton of sense.
No,
It has
it's
my name on it.
It's obviously named after Blondie the comic.
Oh, it's a good comic. But it has my name on it. Oh wait, it's
Just because you
it's not
should-
even the Blondie system anymore. It doesn't matter. It's a Blondie system.
Ah, yes.
Because Blondie wasn't sci-fi enough, which is true.
But I'm saying, just because you took your name from a comic doesn't mean you have the rights to that comic.
Yeah, it's not like I was given this name or anything. I didn't choose the Blondie life.
Blondie Life chose you.
Yeah, well, someone chose it for me.
That's fair.
Oh, first day of school. It never, yeah, it's been a few years.
Here we go. Yes, we're also coming up on the end. We got a few more minutes.
Yes.
Any last questions?
I think actually we have to, because we have a stream after this,
Yep.
which you definitely should watch. It is Surviving Mars, and there may or may not be something that you want to see in that stream. I said nothing. No one can say that I said anything that I shouldn't say. Okay,
All right.
great.
Just go to the end of the year here.
Okay,
Down and
and
save.
Anomaly
Bam!
detected.
that's not the end of the year. That's the 9th of January. Space
Oh, I
January.
thought you were just like killing the stream when you said bam.
Oh.
So I'm like, wow, not even time to say goodbye.
No.
Very rude.
I thought, whatever.
Very- Now-
Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye, everyone. And next time I will actually make a trade route.
Yay!